right, we're here on Smacking Off. This is the CFP Square Table Discussion. I'm joined with several dear friends of the show. We've got some old faces and some new faces. I'll start from where I see y'all on the screen. Representing Clemson, we have Dane Kelly. Dane, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing very well. I hope you are.
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. Spectacular. We also have Mr. Robert Arthur. Old Bob was on the show not too terribly long ago, and he will be representing Miami this evening. Hello, Mr. Robert. How are you doing?
All right, man. What's up, Big Daddy?
Shit, living the dream, baby, all day, every day. Timothy Bailey, representing them Sooners. Woo, Boomer Sooner. What's up, homie?
What's going on, man? How are you?
You sound like you're at a Taco Bell drive-through window. Pull the microphone, put it in your face. Talk to me.
All right.
A little better. Timothy's been having mic issues tonight, so we'll probably be making fun of him more often this show than everybody else. We have an old dear friend of the show. He's actually brand new to the show, but me and Eric, we got some old history, man. How you doing, Eric? Eric Easterwood, ladies and gentlemen.
Doing good, man. War Eagle, baby. War Eagle.
Eric is definitely representing the Auburn Tigers, and we're going to start with Eric because I know that everybody is just dying to talk about the epic just turd that they laid down in the middle of Jordan Hare. Eric, give it to us. Give us the business. Doug and myself are both just unabashed Alabama fans. We're ready for it. Pants are down. Go for it.
You know. I mean, worst loss for Alabama against Auburn since 1969. 12 points, not that much, but complete domination, both sides of the ball. Special teams included.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Eric Easterwood. Thank you, Eric. Now we're going to go on to No, go ahead, Eric. I'm just teasing. Go ahead. I can take it. I'm a big boy.
Let me say this about Alabama, and I know y'all expect me to make fun of them. Alabama's a hell of a football team. What Nick Saban has done since he's been at the University of Alabama is unprecedented. I think y'all still have a shot at the playoff. I know we're going to talk about that tonight. There's ways y'all can get in. Your season's not over. But Auburn came out and whipped y'all's ass. Let's just be honest with each other.
Absolutely, they did. Both sides of the ball. It wasn't one of those that you could say, oh, man, we got some bad calls by the ref or, they wet the field down, which y'all have done before. Shit like that.
Ready, man.
No, it was a definite, complete performance. Both sides of the ball, 60 minutes. Auburn Tigers definitely deserve that one.
And in my opinion, for 5 weeks in a row, man. I mean, you look at what we did after LSU. LSU was a complete disaster. And 5 weeks in a row, we really just complete performances against 4 SEC teams and 1 non-conference game.
And a much more dominant performance against Georgia. I'm just going to throw that out there. I wish Curtis Dyers Jr. were able to answer that, but unfortunately, Georgia's not in the conversation at the moment. But yes. a win at the SEC championship game could change all of that. Where do you see?
I hear the Tide need Auburn to win this weekend. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, I don't think so.
I don't think we need it as much as it will definitely help. I hate to say it, I'm gonna be dick riding Auburn this weekend in that game. It's gonna make our quality loss, which we spoke with a Sooner just a little while ago, Tom Murphy, about that very same thing. That it's so weird that the committee's not examining quality wins this year; they're examining quality losses. And I can't think of anything more pathetic, but that's kind of where we're at.
I think Bama gets in. If Whiskey loses, I think Bama will get in. But there's always the possibility that Ohio State blows out Wisconsin, and an Auburn win in the SEC championship game would come in handy there.
Well, I wouldn't say that
definitely see Ohio State blowing out Wisconsin. I definitely see that happening.
It could happen.
You could end up in a situation where the committee is saying, well, do we go ahead and show that we will pull in a second 2-loss team and throw Bama to the curb for 2017? It's possible.
But is it better for college football if Wisconsin beats Ohio State? That's the question, right? Does anybody ever get tired of watching Urban Meyer lose the national championship game?
No, I love watching that.
No, I kind of enjoy it.
Yeah, it's actually a favorite of mine too.
No one here is gonna have love for Urban Meyer. So
yeah, fuck that guy. I'm only watching just to see if he's gonna just fall out to a Fred Sanford and grab his heart and say, "Oh God, this is the big one. I'm done." When he's down like 25, 30 points or some shit like that. Bonus points if he actually is able to induce vomiting at the same
Let me
time.
ask the Clemson fan, how did it feel to beat the fuck out of South Carolina?
Dane, that's you, baby. Let's talk about it for a second, because that was a huge ass whipping that Clemson.
I kind of expected it. I thought. I really didn't think South Carolina had much for us on either side of the ball, and it turned out about how I thought it would. And I didn't expect to be giving them the ball at the end of the game there, but I guess that's what happens when you throw in backup.
I went to South Carolina in 2011, and that is one of the worst fan bases I've ever been around, man. They are terrible.
And really, though, can you blame them? I mean, they had like a bright spot during the Spurrier years.
They're just classless, really.
Yeah, really bad fans, man. Like
when you throw garbage from a stance, that's pretty good representation.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I've heard hardtails about
and you got to think about it too. For a South Carolina fan to throw garbage, which is very valuable to them, I mean, they had to be pretty pissed off. My precious treasures. Fuck
People
you.
are just now kind of making a big deal about him throwing shit, but man, this has been like an ongoing issue, and like. I heard their athletic director came out and said they were going to address it. Like, why hasn't it already been addressed?
Why don't they just shut the football program down? I mean, seriously, just put them out of their misery for a few years. Death penalty. I love it.
Robert, what happened to Miami?
How was there no penalty for that? Because I remember when in Oklahoma
there was. They gave an unsportsmanlike conduct to Dabo.
Oh, yeah. Robert, are you still with us?
ACC refs strike again.
Threw an orange onto the field. They called a penalty on OU against Nebraska. So Nebraska, instead of getting shut out, lined up for a 45-yard field goal to not get shut out.
Hey, speaking of penalty, I got to throw this out here too. What do y'all think about Auburn getting fined $250,000 for fucking the hedges up and getting on and trampling the stadium?
I think we make it up in Atlanta this weekend with the money.
I think a booster pulls that out of his front pocket and says, "Here's your fucking money. Get out of my office."
Destroy your own stadium. Don't think about that. They act like it's the only win they ever had. Auburn's a great program. I mean, we're going back.
Hey, that was a huge Iron Bowl win. Come on now. There's.
I'm all for rushing the field, but there has to be some sort of thought process that goes into it. You can't just be like, we're going to just.
We're talking about Auburn fans. Come on, man. The words thought process and War Eagle don't go together.
Hey,
man.
let's process this for a second, though. Okay, they got to pay the SEC $250,000, right?
Yeah.
And they got to fix the field.
Yeah, ain't that a fucking deal?
I mean, they're paying the SEC because they rushed the field, and then they got to fix the field too.
That's karma from Harvey Updike, and I'm just going to throw that out there.
Well, the SEC has to say you got to have control of the people that you are responsible of.
I mean, I don't consider myself a troll, really. I consider myself a
I don't know about, bro. Not me, bro. I don't know about Justin.
Speak goddamn women and something, man. I'll beat your goddamn brains.
Yeah, but it was still a horrible look for Oklahoma.
Dude, whatever you're smoking, buy a ton of it.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Smacking Off invites you to join us on the podcast. If you have an opinion on an upcoming game, some commentary on your conference, or want to roll with one of your fellow smackers on air, hit us up. You can message us at the Smacking Off or X's and O's Facebook pages, email me at maddenshannon@toothfairy.com, or call us on the Smack Line, 304-508-BAIT. And as always, fuck your team.
You got to be willing to shoot some people, man, if you're security there.
Happen to win, do not rush the field. If we do, you have to be smart about it. They probably didn't do the guideline.
We do it after every game, man. I don't understand why they have to pay a fucking fine for it. Like
it's an SEC
rule. But you guys have it set up that way as well. You have it set up.
It's
there's an organization.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, people just kind of hop over the wall, but I mean, we don't have shrubs to tear up or anything.
We kind of got to hop over bushes.
All right, hey guys, let's let Robert talk for a second. I want to talk about his Miami Hurricanes.
We have to talk about the Miami Hurricanes and their stunning performance over
We want Pitt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they came out with a whole lot of swagger, but they didn't put out a whole lot of effort. If you ask me, they thought they had the game won. They came in there without the effort and the focus needed, and they rightly benched the quarterback in the fourth quarter. Right, they have to show the guy If he wants,
yeah, Rick took a lot of heat for that decision too.
I don't think he really should have done that.
That was stupid.
Done that. I mean,
the whole team wasn't really playing well. I don't think you could blame the quarterback. I mean, he wasn't playing well
Miami
either.
hasn't played great
they put
all
him right
season.
back in, and he tosses a touchdown. So obviously, you know.
But hey,
and
I don't know. Maybe he woke up from being on the bench, but I don't think so.
If you're a Miami fan, go ahead.
You got to look at Pitt historically. They've got a history of beating programs that's highly ranked, even when they're not doing anything. Heck, they even won a couple great games under Dave Wanstead, the most mediocre coach in
They won a big one last year, I seem to remember. Pitt did.
Yeah, but you're the U, man. You don't lose to the Pitt with the playoff on the line.
Absolutely.
Well, you're the U.
Well, hold on now. Was the playoff really on the line? Because really, if Miami beats Clemson, are they not in?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
Yeah, they're in.
They're in.
I would take Alabama.
I mean, you're talking about they're going to knock off the number 1 team from 7. They're in. They may be 4, but they're in.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and they win their conference championship, which apparently everybody's saying such a big deal. You know,
it would be hard. It'd be hard to convince somebody outside the SEC that Alabama, who's not even going to play in the conference championship, would be deserving over a conference.
I'm a Big 12 fan. I just think when I look at the two teams, the eye test for Miami isn't there. Yes, they had a great performance against Notre Dame, but they've been outgained by over 100 yards by 5 different unranked opponents. That's not something I just
But
overlook.
did they win, though?
Winning is important, obviously, but how you win when you're comparing resumes, they'll both be 11-1. Miami would be 11-1, so would Alabama.
It
matters.
It's all a win-win for Miami, guys. You're missing the whole thing. They're ahead of schedule, right? They were in the dregs.
Yeah.
They were hired.
Absolutely. They're playing with house money.
That's true.
They're playing with absolute house money.
That's right. And if you look at their wins, I mean, they got 24-19 over North Carolina. They was lucky to win that game. If you really look at the games they played and how they play them, really they should be 8.
Their talent and their coaching is what's winning. The experience is keeping other teams in the game.
Yeah, just like we said though, if they beat Clemson, they're in.
Yeah, but I don't see them winning.
I don't either. But I don't either.
Question for the Clemson and the Miami fan: what's the worst loss, Syracuse or Pitt?
Oh,
Syracuse.
I think Syracuse. I mean, and it's not because Clemson beat Auburn earlier in the season.
I mean, we went out there and they went out there and laid a fucking turd in the damn carrierless Carrier Dome. You know,
the one thing you could say about the Syracuse game, even though they shouldn't have been in the game at all, Syracuse is a bad team, so they didn't know how to close the deal. They missed 2 field goals and lost by a field goal. Miami got smashed. I mean, that game wasn't 44-14. Miami got taken to the barn. So
yeah, they really did.
By Pitt, by a very ugly, awful-looking Pitt team. Yeah, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't even close.
I mean, that's the role Pitt plays, though. I mean, they've historically done it. They did it to West Virginia. They did it to Clemson last year, although last year's Pitt team was very good. They
did have to run the gauntlet last year.
I mean, they beat 3 ranked opponents and lost to 4 ranked opponents. Not very many teams play 7 ranked opponents in 1 year.
No.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Several on the road. They played Clemson and Oklahoma State on the road and Penn State on the road. So,
okay, guys, I want to get everybody's take on what this CFP is going to lay out when they put the rankings out. What are we looking at?
Yeah, what do we expect to see?
Clemson or Oklahoma number 1, man? That's my question. Who do you put at number 1?
Clemson.
Who said that? Clemson, the Clemson fan?
Yeah, no, the Miami fan. Robert.
Oh, sorry.
Robert said that, yeah.
I believe you got to rank Clemson number 1, and I believe you got to take Auburn number 2. The Auburn beat both the number 1 team twice this year, right? If they're talking about ranking by losses, I think that wins matter more than when you beat the number 1 team twice in 1 season.
Well, it's also about timing, too. I mean, you know, Auburn's hot right now. Auburn's hot and playing probably some of the best football in the country. I mean, you know,
Oklahoma's won their last 5 games by double digits, so
I'm an Auburn
as good
fan.
as Auburn is.
I got to go with Oklahoma too, man. And I love Auburn number 2. That warms my heart. But I mean, I watch Baker Mayfield play, man, and it's just unreal.
If Auburn hadn't lost to LSU, they would probably be number 1.
I agree with you. Terrible loss.
The most balanced team left is Auburn, though. If you look at them on offense, the most balanced team, they've got the running game. They've got the passing game. They can pull off play action whenever they want. They prove they can go vertical whenever they have to. With the style that Oklahoma plays, I think they're going to put up a lot of yards. But they haven't really faced teams other than Ohio State on their
And TCU.
And TCU, yeah.
I think the committee needs to have some balls here, and they need to just because really it's not going to matter. They need to go ahead and put Auburn at number 1. And this is my reasoning. It's because it really doesn't matter. Auburn, they're going to have to win. No matter what, they're going to have to win the SEC championship in order to be
and that's going to be tough, man. That's going. I mean,
to beat this Georgia team that's playing at this level 2 times in a row, man. That's crazy. That's crazy talk.
Now, what if Miami does win, though? What if Miami does win?
Zane's getting some munchies right now. Y'all hang on for a second.
Go ahead, Robert.
Would that mean if Miami does beat Clemson, where do you put them in the CFP? Do you put them in at all? Do you put
yes.
them in 4?
They're in.
4 or 5. They're at 4 or 5, depending on what the committee does with Alabama. Don't just think if Miami wins that they're a shoo-in over Bama.
Yeah,
so y'all are basically saying Bama's got 3 ways to get in now.
I think Bama has multiple ways to get in.
Yeah, Bama does have.
If Oklahoma loses to TCU, Alabama's 100% in if TCU beats Oklahoma, without a doubt.
TCU's not going to be at Oklahoma. There's just no way that's going to happen.
Lost at the wrong time. If Alabama had lost the game early in the season and then won the they'd be in no problem.
Yeah, but it was to Auburn, and it was at Auburn, and it's a rivalry game. I don't think losing it late in the season is that bad.
If it was slightly worse of a loss, I would have to disagree with you, Dane. But I think you're 100% correct in that one.
Visit our Facebook pages, Smacking Off the Podcast fan page and Smacking Off the Podcast group page. Facebook.com/group/smackoff. Facebook.com/smackologists.
I'm the greatest smack of all the fakes that goes right now.
No, wait. Okay, all right, fellas, time out. Come on, give me a second here. Fellas, pause. Just give me a second, man. Pause. Give me a second. Let me pause. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what it's all about here at Smacking Off. A rivalry game, particularly a rivalry game when your rival is also just happens to be number 6 in the country at the moment,
right?
And just
exactly.
and the hottest team in the country. Everybody
just knocked off number 1 like it was nothing. Yeah, I mean that's I don't know. I think that's just where they're at right now.
I think Auburn's very good, but I also have to add that I just don't think Georgia is very good because they don't have any balance on offense in a weak secondary.
Amen. I was at the Auburn-Georgia game, man, and if you stop Sonny Michel and you stop Nick Chubb,
obviously very few teams are going to be able to stop the run of Georgia like Auburn did. But if you can contain those dudes, keep them under 150 yards, Fromm can't beat you if you have an offense.
Fromm was lost, man. Our D-line dominated Georgia's offensive line the whole game.
Now, that being said, the other thing Alabama has going for them is the eye test. I know that they lost by 12 points in this game, but if you look into the box score, they were only outgained by 30 yards, and they ran for 209 yards with 5.9 yards per carry. They ran for 209 yards on only 37 carries against an Auburn defense that literally acted like Sonny Michel and Nick Chubb were just pushover chumps.
Yep.
The problem with Alabama is that they can't play from behind. Their quarterback is great at running out of trouble, but they can't play from behind. And a vertical passing game, I guess Alabama's been exposed. If you've got a vertical passing game, you can beat Alabama because their defensive backs wanting to look for the ball.
We can say they can't play from behind, but they played from behind against Mississippi State and Starkville.
Yeah, but that was State.
I mean, listen.
Yeah,
Alabama's issues are the same most every year. Most of their quarterbacks are game managers that aren't going to just peel off and win you a game outside of A.J. McCarron being the exception. And they're on defense, and this is a college football thing, not just an Alabama thing, because Alabama has as much talent in the secondary as anybody. They probably have the most because Minka and Arvette are pretty damn good. The problem is that in college football now, with the way that the spread offense works and the different routes that you run and rub routes, and then the fact that you can go 3 yards down the field before, it's hard to defend the pass. So if you have a team that's really proficient at throwing the football, like an Auburn or an Oklahoma or a Clemson, the teams that Alabama struggled against in the last 5 years. I mean, they had HaHa Clinton Dix and Landon Collins. The talent's not a problem there at Alabama.
It's not that. It's the coaching of the players. They can keep.
It's the scheme.
The scheme. They have no problem keeping teams like Oklahoma in front of them and limiting the amount of yards. It's when you go vertical with them, the guys aren't even looking for the ball.
It didn't work that great in the 2014 Sugar Bowl.
I've had some conversations with this guy. He thinks that Oklahoma doesn't have a vertical passing attack. So in his mind, he thinks.
But that's not their scheme. Their scheme is to rub off and do a short and turn.
They have two dudes that run a 4.3 that have caught 60-yard TDs this year. They can throw deep. That's not a problem.
Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback in the nation.
He is. I think he's pretty much shot. He's got the Heisman pretty well locked up. But fellas, we got to wrap this up in a minute. Dane, give me 1 through 4 real quick.
All right. I think it's going to be Clemson number 1, OU number 2. I would put Auburn at number 3. I think the committee will do that as well. And Wisconsin number 4.
Robert, give me 1 through 4.
I've got Clemson 1, Oklahoma 2, Wisconsin 3. I believe that Wisconsin's going to shock some people, and they're going to show you that if you hold the ball, you can't score. And then I got Auburn number 4.
Timothy, give me 1 through 4.
I got number 1, Oklahoma. It's really a toss-up between them and Clemson. Really like resumes.
Interchangeable, yeah, you're right.
Interchangeable, but you're going to go with Okie, aren't you?
Yeah, of course.
2, I think that they've proven that they're the best team over the last 5 or 6 weeks compared to Clemson.
I think so, yeah.
2, Clemson. What they've done up to this point, worth noting. Number 3, I think they'll go Auburn, even though they probably should go Wisconsin there, out of a respect thing for being 12-0. 4, they'll go Wisconsin. I think 5 will be Alabama.
Okay. Absolutely.
Excellent. And Eric?
All right, number 1, I go with Oklahoma because I feel like the Iowa State loss is better than the Syracuse loss. Number 2, I'll go with Clemson. Number 3, I'll go with Auburn. Number 4, I'll go with Wisconsin. But honestly, I would not be surprised if Wisconsin and Auburn switched. Like they said, because of the undefeated record. Also, I have Alabama at number 5. So don't be surprised if Alabama slips in there when all this is said and done.
Excellent. Fellas, this has been an absolutely wonderful conversation, and I look forward to talking to each and every one of you come next week.
We're going to do one more of these, and we're going to do it right after the final. I don't think we're going to do it tomorrow night. I think we're going to save our reaction till the last poll, which is going to be on Sunday after the championship games.
All right, that sounds good. Hey, good luck to you on y'all's respective championship games, to all of y'all.
Okay.
So, yeah, good luck to.
Thank you very much.
Bama is guaranteed. I'm going to guarantee that Bama doesn't lose this weekend.
Good luck to Florida State.
Yeah.
At Jimbo Fisher's last game at Florida State.
Oh, it's going to be so
they've
sad.
They got a bowl record on the line. Don't they have like a streak of
36 years or something? 35 or 36 years.
Wow.
So they rescheduled the Mud Dogs so they could get that one.
Even though there's some bullshit wins in it, you got to respect the way the Florida State players at least finished the year, because they could have packed it in and said fuck it.
No, they kept playing. They definitely kept playing.
The shit out of Florida, and that was hilarious because I hate Florida.
that was horrible. I mean, really, the trajectory both teams have been on this year.
College. I don't know how they lost those games.
How the hell do you lose?
All right, guys. Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to hang up on y'all, and y'all going to talk for another 20 minutes like you did last time.
Bye, guys.
No, I got to go. My phone's home.